anything else that you have in your house that you can paint on, that you're allowed to paint on too, go get that. And also gather some paints. You can color with a lot of colors today, but what you really want to make sure you have are blues, or even just one blue and some white, so you can make more different colors of blues. So that's what me and Emily are going to do first. We're going to get right to it, and we're using paper plates. If you have other than to put your paint on, that's fine, but we're going to use some paper plates. And I have 3 different blues. I have a darker blue, that's called peacock blue, but it doesn't really matter. And then some in-between blue, and then some lighter blue. Okay, so we're going to put these 3 blues on our plates next to each other. You just have to put a little bit, not too much. Maybe the size of a quarter or a little bit more. In between blue. That's true. And if you don't put enough paint on your plate, that's okay. You can add more afterwards. So don't worry how much you put on. Just don't put a lot. You don't want to waste paint. So this is what we got going on right here. We have our darker blue, our medium blue, and our light blue. Okay, so now Emily already has her brush in her hand. We need a black sponge brush. If you don't have one of these, that's fine. It's just easier to cover more of your canvas with it. We're doing a picture of the sky. So we're going to start with darker up here. We're going to fade until it gets lighter up until about here. You don't want to go all the way to the bottom because we're going to have clouds down here. Okay, so Emily, you heard that?
Yeah.
So you want to go from here to about here and then stop. But we're going to start with our dark color, so don't get too ahead of yourself. I just want to make sure no one goes all the way to the bottom. And we're going to do the dark on the top. Okay, so everyone can see what I'm doing here. I'm adding darker blue to the top. So you might be wondering how much darker blue. It doesn't really matter too much how far you go down. We're going to blend colors to make it naturally turn from darker blue to lighter blue. But for now, I'm doing about 1 inch or 2. If you're doing this on a piece of paper is about the same size as this. Okay, so I went down probably 4 or 5 inches with my dark blue. Also, you can color, if you want, color the sides of the canvas and the top part of the canvas.
Are people talking to us?
I'm answering.
Oh.
Okay, so
My canvas is a little smaller.
yeah, Emily's canvas is a little smaller. But what we're going to do now is we're going to mix the medium blue with the rest of the dark blue that we have. Not all of it, just a little piece of it. So let me come up closer to show you that. So this is how we blend colors, so it doesn't look like just one streak of blue, then another streak of blue. So we're going to take a little bit of this and move it into the darker blue, which will make it a little bit lighter so it fades well. Okay, so now we're going to meet that.
Is mine too dark? Should I make it lighter?
No, that's good. There's not really any wrong or right with this. So now I'm going to mix right over that line, and it's going to mix really well together. Okay, and use the same brush because some of the dark blue will be still left on it, which is good. It gives it a more natural look. And you might not even be able to see where you went from darker to a little bit lighter, and that's the purpose of this. Okay, it makes it naturally fade. And if you want to make it a little more U-shape, because the clouds aren't going to be perfectly straight underneath, I'm going to color my sides. Okay. Nice. So it's okay if you blend up. You won't really notice too much right now of the color change. We just mixed those together to get a little bit in between darker and medium blue. And now I'm going to go right for my medium blue color, the middle one. And I'm going to put that right underneath it.
Like directly?
Yeah, directly underneath it. It's okay if it overlaps it a little bit, if you go over the other blue. It's all supposed to blend and mix and look like the sky. You know, the sky doesn't look like one perfect blue color. It's a mix of blues. And notice that I am making mine have like an arch right here where I'm going up. That's because, as I said, we're going to have clouds on the bottom, so to make sure you don't come down here yet. Nice. So I can see Emily's blues get a little lighter as she goes down. And now we're going to mix a little bit of the lighter blue with the medium blue. So I'm mixing those together, and we're going to get a medium light blue. Okay, so that right there is what I'm going to use for my next layer. And again, I'm going to go right where the blues meet, and I'm going to go right below it. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, so now I'm ready for my light blue.
What did you do?
A lot of typing going on.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I could get on there.
Oh, no, it just says people who are watching.
Oh, hi everybody.
Hi, Polly. Hi, Dad.
Okay, so now we have the light blue that we're just adding all by itself. It's not mixed with any then.
You want this here?
No.
Oh,
Whoa, purposely had it
What's
down
going
there.
on over there?
Becca just entered the
I
room.
on my goldfish.
Okay. Okay, so now we add the light blue, and I'll come closer and show this, so if you're confused or if you're not up to this pace yet. And I'm going to kind of add, this part's important. So I'm adding my light blue, and I'm going to add a cloud-like shape. The clouds are underneath. Okay, so I made it look a little poofy. They're not perfect. And I'm going to color all this in between baby blue. And I'm not going to color underneath the line that I just made.
Monica Brown says, hey.
Hi, Monica. And Tamaya, if you're with her. Okay. So we got to this point now where we have the blue sky.
Ooh, pretty.
The blue sky, and we're not done with our clouds yet. This is just the background I said, and I have light blue still on my brush, and I'm gonna kind of just, if I see any white spots, I'm just gonna kind of fill them in. I know this isn't the same blue that I used before, but that's okay. You can have a mix of blues in the sky. That's the purpose. And remember to do your sides if you want to. Okay, so I got my sky. Oh, Emily, that looks so pretty.
Thanks.
Alright, so if anyone needs any help or for me to repeat that, we put some whiteness in the bottom. We just left it white and made it so it was like kind of bumpy. Like it almost looked like there's like hills
I still need that.
or mountains down here. It also, if you end up getting a little bit of the blue on it, like this, if you accidentally got some blue on it, just a tiny bit, that's okay. We're going to fade that in to make the clouds look more poofy and real. So if you want to do that, if you have a tiny bit left on your brush, you can. We're going to go over this bottom part with white, so it's going to just look like little poof marks rather than a mistake. Okay. So once you got to this point, Emily's still making her clouds down there. Once you got to this point, you want to put some white on your plate, and we're actually going to paint over this bottom part white. You don't have to do this part because it already looks like clouds to an extent, but I do think that it will look better if you add white to it. And I'll show you why. This is the same then if you're painting snow. If you chose different colors to make the sky, or if it was blue and you chose to do the snow. Same technique, where you can use the colors that you use in the sky a little bit to make it so the snow doesn't look perfectly clean, and then you go over it with white. Okay, so I added white to my plate, and I'm just going to go right over all this with white. I did switch my brush, by the way. If you want to just clean your brush off, that works too. I just have a ton of brushes, so I'll clean them afterwards. But I do have white on my brush, and I'm just painting in this bottom part. And as I said, if you wanted to make it not look perfectly white, when your blue brush was pretty dry, you could have put a little bit of blue marks on it. Okay, I need a little bit more white on my plate. Thanks, Sam.
Sharon is Karen.
Yep, now we're sharing white because Emily poured more out than me. Okay. So this painting, I know I haven't told you yet what we're painting. You know we're painting a sky. We're actually painting the house with the balloons on it from the movie Up. You could make it your house, so if you have a house that's green or purple, the next step we're going to do is paint the house. So you can choose whatever color you want for the house. In the movie, it's yellow and brown. So those are the colors I'm going to use. But if you want to make it your house with a bunch of balloons going on, you can do that too. Okay, so it might look like I'm doing nothing right now, but up close you can see the difference, right, Em?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see the difference up close, which I'll come up close and show you. Becca's watching us from the side. She probably thinks we're just doing nothing.
No, they
You
look
can see the
beautiful.
difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
So
them.
now, look at my clouds. They're not perfectly anything. Clouds aren't supposed to be perfect. This is painting, and clouds are all different shapes. So if you wanted to add different shapes, but you can see that it's not perfectly white.
I thought you saw what she said.
No.
She was supposed to, but she didn't shrink quick enough.
They're telling secrets behind their canvas on me.
I don't have a canvas.
All right. So,
I painted this one.
yeah. So now we're gonna paint a little house. The sky is really big. We're gonna have to put. We're putting a.
paint my hair white, girl.
You had white hair once.
Oh yeah, don't tell anyone.
Gray.
It was gray. Emily had a little bit of a mistake happen. But anyway, so we're gonna have a bunch of balloons up here.
Ooh.
Okay. So just like the house in Up, remember the house gets lifted off by a bunch of balloons. So there's a bunch of balloons going up here. So our house is actually gonna be very, very small. I would put it around here. If you want to put it over here and make it so the balloons are blowing one way, that's fine. But I'm gonna put my balloon right in the middle, about this big. My house, I mean. So my house is gonna be this big, probably about an inch or two big, and then all the balloons will go up here afterwards. As I said, the house Up is brown and yellow, so mostly, there's some other colors in it too, but mostly brown and yellow. So I'm going to use brown and yellow right now. Emily, what color are you going to do your house?
I don't know. I need a paintbrush. I need a
Look in the bathroom sink has some.
brush.
You can grab a few of them. Okay, so I'm going to use the brown to...
Whoa. I'm jumpy today. I
I
need to
know.
go back to bed.
Okay, so I'm going to make my house first. I'm going to show you guys. Make sure your back is dry, okay? So I should have said that in the beginning. Make sure you don't use a lot of paint. If you use too much and it needs to dry, you can either use a blow dryer to dry it right now, or... You okay?
I'm looking for what colors before I step
Okay.
in front of the camera.
Hi, Aunt Dixie.
Oh, I am in front of the camera.
So, you can come down here.
I don't know what colors I want.
Okay, Emily's trying to figure out what color she wants for the house. I would keep the house either the color of your house or whatever your dream house would look like, what color you want that to be, your favorite color. If your favorite color is, my favorite color is yellow, so it makes sense for me to still use the yellow.
Becca, what color should I paint my house?
Just
Red.
know that you're going to have a lot of colors up here for
Red
the balloons. So it doesn't really matter what color you do for the house. You're going to add a lot of colors in. So for the house, I'm just going to, if you have a specific way that you make a house, you can do it like that. I'm going to make a square, the outline of a square using the brown, and I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. Okay, so I put my bottom like that, and then I'm going to make it go up to have a roof, which I'm literally just making a square. Okay, so I have a square right now. That's all I got, a floating square in the middle of it. I'm going to make the inside yellow, so that's why I'm just making it brown on the outside right now. I'm going to add a little bit of a roof.
Well, I guess this has been our biggest hit. So many viewers right now.
Okay, so we have a little bit of a roof now. We're going to add a chimney to that to make it look more like a house.
Wow, painted upside down. That's impressive.
I need gray.
Emily needs gray. Okay, so as I said, you guys have all drawn houses before. You can choose whatever way you want to do it. I have my house like this, and I'm going to fill it in yellow. That's my chimney popping out, and we're going to have the balloons coming out of there.
That has white all over it.
That's okay. Okay, so I'm filling my house in yellow.
I'm making my house.
The house we live in.
The one I live in.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
What color house you doing in?
She didn't listen.
Me?
I literally just said I'm making the house that I live in.
Emily's making a white house with a gray roof.
I hope
All right. So here's my house. If you don't like your house perfectly, that's okay. Let it dry first. Like right here, it's a little too thick of the brown. So I'm going to let it dry and then I'll put a little yellow over it. You can make a door, but make sure your main color of your house dries before you put a door. Otherwise, the paint will just mix and it'll make your house look a different color. So don't make the door yet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do the balloons first and then I'll go back and draw my door. Okay, so to make the balloons, first we want to make the big white strings that came out of the chimney. So starting from the chimney and going up, you can make a white string going this way. Okay, you don't want to make it too thick, but it's also okay. This is all abstract and for fun. I'm making some different strings, and there's going to be balloons all around them. Emily, your house is so cute.
It's our house.
I know, it's so cute. Okay, so here we got it. We got a house, we got some strings coming out, and now you get to have fun with colors. So as many colors as you want, you can add up above. I would recommend not using blue because blue won't show on the sky unless you choose really light blue. I'm going to put my painted down for a second so I can pour out what colors I want to use. I'm going to use some orange, and I recommend really just putting a tiny bit on your plate for this part. Like when I say a tiny bit, like maybe that much, because you're just making polka dots with this. You're not painting anything too much. And you're going to use a lot of different colors to make these polka dots. So I put orange, I got some pink. Oop, definitely poured out way too much of that. Got some greens. there's two techniques that you can do for the balloons.
Oh, that one liquidy.
Yeah, that's really liquidy. What one was that? So there's two techniques. Either one, you can use the back of your brush. So if you have one of these type of brushes, you can actually use right here and poke it in the color and then just make dots all over the place, okay? I've done that, but you can also use this side of your brush and get some of the color and then make circles with it. So it's up to you on how you decide to do that. I'll show you what both looks like, so you don't make the mistake on yours and then decide you want another one. So the polka dot technique of using the back side of your brush. So you have the back side of your brush and you can just make dots like this. Lighter you push, smaller the dot you'll get. Harder you push, or if you move it around, you'll get a bigger dot, okay? And you can come down here too. If you look this up online, the balloons come all through the strings and all up top. It makes kind of a circular pattern up top, so that's what we're going to aim for. If you want to do the other technique of making an actual circle, you would start here and you can make an actual circle. I personally like making the dots. What do you like, Em?
Dots. I always paint with the end of my brush
Yeah.
for some reason.
The end of your brush is pretty fun. So I'm going to try to make a little bit of an outline using the pink right now. But you can make balloons all over. Okay, so I use some pink. Let me add some orange to this. And if you're not sure if you made too many pink dots, that's okay. You can go back and add more pink, of course, or whatever color you chose to start with. I switched off to orange just to add some color into it, other than just pink. But in the end, I might go back and put more pink in there. So darker the colors, it might not show as much, depending on how dark your blue was. That's why I'm using really bright colors right now. I'm going to use green next so you can see what I'm talking about. And you don't need to clean your brush off between each one. If you want to, you can wipe it with a paper towel. But the colors don't seem to mix too much on the back of the brush. Sometimes I roll the back of the brush a little bit to get a bigger dot. Alright, this is where I'm getting to right now. A bunch of dots all over the place. I'm going to make more until we feel like it's full enough to have a full balloon that would actually lift the house up. Wouldn't that be fun?
No, I don't like heights.
Oh. Emily doesn't like heights, so she wouldn't want to be inside of this house.
I much prefer the bottom of the ground.
Hey, you think they had to experience what we're experiencing right now? They couldn't leave their house.
Yes,
They were quarantined, but because they were up in the sky.
Ooh, pretty.
Okay, so Becca just came back just to update her. We're making the balloons now, even though I think she could tell that that's what we're doing. I'm using yellow now. What color are you using now? Oh, Emily has red.
Ooh.
I'm going to use some of her red after.
I want that purple.
What purple?
Pretty purple.
Hi, Polly.
Is Polly painting?
Polly, you painting?
Why didn't he say anything yet? I'm just kidding.
It's delayed, I think.
I'm waiting for him to be like sitting right there. He's usually right there. I don't know.
So as you guys can see, we're in a different location today. This is just where I live. Our dining room, where we usually have been doing this video, has been taken over as our For Good Vibes headquarters. So check out our online website if you haven't already, because apparently people are liking what we're posting, and we're starting to sell enough that we can turn our dining room into a little shipping room where we are sending them out. So we are still mailing them, if you're curious.
Polly's not painting.
Oh, Polly.
Why not, Polly?
What better than do you have to be doing right now?
Ooh, called out.
That goes to everyone watching this. If you don't want to paint a house with balloons, you can still listen to what I did for the sky and the clouds, and then you can paint anything you want up in the sky. If you want to paint words.
Couldn't
You
they
can
also
paint
do
a word
this
down.
for an ocean and flip it upside down and do something on the bottom?
Yeah, and you can make it snow too if you want to paint like a snowman. Not that I think anyone wants to be doing that right now, but you could also use this for the ocean. And instead of using like white up here, you could have used black and made mountains or something in the background. So there's a lot you can do with learning how to paint the background. In fading colors, that technique's pretty helpful in any setting of a sunset. If you want to go from like red, orange to yellow, same then where you just combine a few colors. You got purple down here?
UPS is
I was just going in for it, but
Oh, okay.
my brush was clean, so.
UPS.
Purple, purple,
What do you think they're burning them like?
I'm not telling you.
You're in the video.
Me?
Yeah, on the top one.
I'm trying to see what if we're getting anything good.
Alright, purple, purple.
He hasn't gotten out of his
UPS
truck.
is pretty boring usually, so USPS is the fun one.
Oh.
Good to know. Okay. Oh, Emily, yours look so cute. Okay, what other colors do we need that we haven't added that I took out? Yes, Emily.
Yes.
Okay, what else? We use purple.
Can we use yellow?
I used this yellow,
Oh, the yellow.
which,
That yellow pretty.
give me a second.
Sneaking in.
I don't know if this purple, so I'm using this darker purple now. I don't know if this will show up because of the blue sky, but I'll still use it.
Doesn't want to come out.
I don't think we got anything.
What's happening?
You might have to shake it.
It's like frozen. I'm not even kidding.
Is it? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
It is full.
Let me see.
Crazy, right?
There's a big
Glumpadump.
glob. Glumpadump, as Becca says.
Glumpadump.
Alright, you can just stick right in. Now I got all this yellow glob all over mine. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my purple, which wasn't showing up that well because the sky's dark. Alright, I'm gonna paint my door on now. My house looks dry enough, so I'm gonna paint a little door in there, a little rectangle. And now I'm gonna fix a little bit. I made that wall, that yellow brown part too thick that I mentioned earlier.
Do you have black?
I do have black, it might be over there though. Okay, I want more yellow too in mine. What are you doing with black? Is it a secret?
Yeah, it's a big secret. Can't tell anyone. Sorry.
Is it what I did yesterday?
Yeah. But I need a brush.
Alright,
Whee!
so this is where we're at. We got a house with a bunch of balloons. We have a door in our house now. We got some clouds. So now if you notice, we have a lot of extra space. We have a lot of extra space down here.
That's smart. I'm not
And-
talking about it.
Okay. So you have a lot of extra space down here. You can add a word to there if you want, or you can just leave it like that. You can also add birds up in your sky. So how you'd add a bird if you want to do that. You take some black. And you can just make one of those typical little V birds. I'm using the back of my brush just because it's easier. So up here, I made a little bird, and you can make another one. I'm just making like a little V kind of curved out. Okay, so if you want to make some birds in your sky with it, you can write a word down here though. The word I wrote when I first did this painting was adventure.
Mine's a secret. Don't say it out loud.
I love that. Okay, so when I did one of these the other day, I wrote the word adventure down here. I wrote it in cursive. I realized a lot of people don't do cursive in school anymore. I also realized that this is showing up reversed and backwards right now due to us using the front camera of our phones. But anyways, so it says adventure.
What are you gonna write today? Or is it a secret?
I kind of like what you're writing. But I will write something else. Alright, so choose a word that you like that you can fit down below if you would like to. Are you exposing it? Are you telling everyone what you did?
Yeah. So I wrote stay home. Look at
Stay
that.
home, which is, you want to show the other camera too? I like it. Stay home. You can't leave if your house lifted up with a bunch of balloons. Right, Becca?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
If you guys do this painting, make sure to send us pictures.
We would love to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see how you guys did your balloons and how much colors, what colors you had to play with. And so,
Ah,
I decided to stick
A
with
cool fishy
Emily's
spell.
theme a tiny bit.
it's at Sarah's toe.
Just making a few more birds. I kind of like having birds over to the side. Okay, so I decided to write the word hope, because even when the grandpa and the little guy were up there in the sky, they still had hope. I don't remember their names. But anyways, when they got up, they still had hope, and that's what we should all have right now, too, during this quarantine time. And there's my birds in the top, so stay home, have some hope. Emily's adding more balloons, so if you feel like you don't have enough balloons, you can still add more, of course.
We'll put a
Um,
picture of ours in the comments when the video's over, so everyone can see.
Yeah, and you guys should add yours in the comments as well. What's the activity for tomorrow?
Tomorrow is string art, which I think a lot of you might have already made yours, but we're getting a bunch more kits today. They'll be on the website, so you can pick them up later today or tomorrow. And yeah, string art's a great adult activity as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be doing a paint night for adults soon too. It won't be a painting like this. It'll be more of a sunset beach theme scene to take us away on a little adventure rather than remind us to stay home during this. But yeah, so we'll be posting about that soon. Emily's adding more balloons still. That's probably what we're going to do after we end this. But anyways, if you have any questions, message us, send us pictures, and have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.